Welcome to today's video, everybody. We're at SAMMIT HQ, but unfortunately today, I gotta be upfront with you guys, I gotta be honest. Everything's broken around me. Obviously, a lot of my project cars are broken, and one of the only cars that run is Adam's Subaru or my FD car, and I can't even drive that on the street. Everything else needs work, or we're trying to sort out papers for like the 32 and stuff, and then the 33.4, the engine's hurt. But it gets worse than that. And I'll get the truck keys and I'll show you. So I haven't been able to really drive at any events this month, and that's because the truck is down, and it's not exactly good. When I came back from my trip, I let a friend borrow the truck, and I don't think this is his fault. I think it's just because the truck's done a lot of mileage, right? But I started it up to get things prepped to go to the drift event, and the thing was billowing out white smoke. You've heard of catalytic converter thieves, but have you heard of turbo thieves? Because there's no longer a turbo on my truck. We didn't get stolen, we took it off, but the turbo blew. Amongst a few other things, power steering line blew out. Pretty much, I did an oil change and a service on this thing, and the moment I gave it any kind of attention and love, it let me down in the weirdest ways. So yeah, getting a bunch of maintenance done on this thing, fixing everything, and then I'm done with this truck. I'm gonna take it to the auctions, drop it off there, sell it. I mean, if anyone watches my videos and you're in Japan and you need one of these trucks, it's got the really sought after full flatbed. I am going to be selling this just so we can make way for a nice new truck. I think it's time that we got something a little bit better, and this was just something that was offered to me. It was for a good price, and it was something that I just needed in the moment, and I didn't have time to look at anything else. So I really want to get a double loader, and now that I'm going to get my bigger license so I can have like a proper 2-loader with like big cars on the back, not just a small loader with like the small cars. I think that's gonna make a big difference, because then we can rock up to the track with like my main like good reliable car, and then a car that I wanna do a shakedown on or test or get into time attack, or bring the time attack car and the drift car, and I could do both the time attack sessions and the drifting sessions. How awesome would that be? All right, so let me show you the new turbo for this thing. So what we have in this box, oh, it has my name on it. I didn't even notice that. Is a lovely box from my friends at GCG Turbo. If you guys don't know who GCG is, they are a main distributor for Garrett turbos, and they also build and overhaul and rebuild and repair any turbo you send them. So if you have some kind of blown up turbo and you don't know the make or the model, or let's say it's a crappy eBay turbo, cheap China crap, you can ship that to them. They'll rebuild it, put a Garrett core in there, some like genuine parts, and that thing will come back the best turbo you've ever had. And that's exactly what we did with the truck turbo. Mitsubishi wanted like $3 grand for a replacement turbo. I was like, stuff that. Let's just send it to my boys at GCG. This is what the turbo used to look like. Let me hold this up here for you guys. Rusty, crusty, and gross. I think I have a photo on my phone, but that's what it used to look like. You were not prepared for what it looks like now. It's entirely different turbo. The best thing is, it now has a metal turbine wheel in the front on the compressor. Oh, that feels so tight. And really nice rear turbine wheel. So I'm really excited about that. And obviously it's internally gated, but it's like piped through here. It's some weird like turbo diesel stuff. I don't think this is multi-vane. I think it's just a simple old TD05, but it looks amazing. Brand new wheels, actuator's been tested, refurbished, everything looks amazing. They do such great work at GCG. It's a T2 as well, which kind of blew my mind, which means we could probably put a Silvia S15 turbo on it. Hang on a moment. I have some Garrett turbos. Not gonna get ahead of ourselves. It's a truck, and I wanna get rid of the thing. So we're gonna put this thing back on there. We'll get the truck up and running so we can make some more events. But yeah, that's another reason why things have been kind of slow this month, and I hope that kind of explains things for you. So pretty much the turbo failed by like this little edge on the shaft here. So usually when these things kind of fail, it's like bearings and stuff like that. But this was like a combination of multiple things, and I think it was because the bearings had failed at some point, and then it just started getting worse and worse and worse and deteriorating. But it's hard to see, but you can kind of see on the arrow here, there's a little arrow pointed into this inner groove in there, and the edge got too rounded out there, so therefore the little seal that they have in there could no longer seal the oil and stop it from leaking out past into the turbo wheel and burning up. So yeah, in the end we had to replace this because this is one piece. It's not a wheel pressed on there. This is actually full one piece, and then the shaft gets machined out of that. So they had to get this only part from Mitsubishi, I believe, and they rebuilt the whole turbo. We got a new compressor wheel and everything on there. She's good to go. So probably tomorrow we'll get that installed on the truck, and we'll be chooching again. And what they used to say? Rollin' coal. That's the one. One of my all-time favorite friends just came back from Canada, and he's been gone. How long have you been gone now?
6 months.
6 months. And you guys who watch the video will know who he is and just how much of a special thing that it is that he even came back, which is a little bit emotional to talk about. But, give me the camera. Riley is back. And he's got hair.
I don't look like an egg anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't look like an egg anymore. And surgery went really well, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable showing us the scar?
Yeah, just keep in mind, I've spent the last 6 months in bed recovering.
Yes, don't worry, we're both signing up for the gym, because like both New Year's resolutions.
So,
look at this scar. They sliced you up.
Yep, it goes all the way down here, around the belly, and it goes a little bit lower, but we'll keep that...
Yeah. Well,
we'll keep it safe for YouTube.
Yeah, we're keeping things safe. If you guys remember, we made a very special video with Riley, and at that point, I don't want to say the word because we've learned that if you say the C word on YouTube, it's actually like you get shadow banned. So those of you know, he had the C word, and it had spread to his
retroperitoneal lymph nodes.
Lymph nodes.
The place like behind
everything. It's like on the other side of your spine, but like you can't go through the back, which would be the shortest way, but there's a spine and nerves and stuff in there. So he had to get the same surgery that Okachan had to get actually when Okachan had the aneurysm. Yeah. And they had to repair that. But obviously we were super optimistic and super just staying positive, but there was a chance that Riley may not have come back. So I am really excited because he's back and we now get to do car stuff. And if you remember from the video that we did, that was the first time he ever went drifting. He got a little sick because of the chemotherapy and stuff like that. But he's back and he's strong and there's no C word in his body whatsoever, which is super exciting. And
prognosis is super great too.
Yeah.
The doctors let me know that in my case, it's above 90% chance that it's never coming back.
That's amazing.
All I have to do is I get a blood test every 2 months.
Yep.
Once a year I get a body CT scan.
Yep.
And
you're good.
I'm done.
That's so good, dude. All right. Well, the Z's still getting some body work done, but the keys are for you whenever you want to start getting back into some driving. I think we're both going to the gym first, though. I think we've both agreed on that.
I need to slim down so I can fit in the seats.
See, I don't really need to slim down. I need to gain muscle because I'm already too skinny, but my cardio is terrible and stamina is rubbish. So we're going to probably be doing that. There'll probably be some kind of like lifestyle vlogs around that. But what do you think of the garage? This is the first time you've been able to look at it, right? I know last time when I was just like finding out that we were going to get this place, I took you to the front. We couldn't go inside and it was late at night or something. And I was like, check it out. This is probably where our HQ is going to be.
You showed me the front and you're like, oh, this little laundry box here is where the merch store is going to be. And I mean, when I was in Canada in bed recovering, I would watch all the videos and it kind of still felt like I was still here and apart.
Oh, you were, man. I was thinking about you all the time.
Texting back and forth, everything.
Yeah.
But
just quickly as well, guys, I just want to say, for those of you that did watch it before YouTube buried the video, thank you so much to anyone that did give to his recovery fund and everything for the surgery and whatnot. Things were very expensive, and obviously he's going to be helping out around here because he needs a paycheck. So we're gonna have Riley around here helping around a lot and try and get him back on his feet now that you're back here in Japan. It feels so weird that you're back, it feels like so much has happened. It feels like it's been years.
It's been half a year, but it's so surreal being here in person. And I mean, on the way here before catching my flight, I watched a video and everything is still this exact same how it was. I remember your old shop and
the one we nearly accidentally burnt down.
Yeah.
Roll the clip. Just clean off any deposits of carbon.
The difference here is there's so much room for activities.
It's great. No, it's great. And like, can you think about this for a second? How many cars are in here?
I think I can still count.
I can still drive a car in here and do a U-turn and go out. Weird flex. All right, Sam, calm down. But yeah, Riley's back. I'm excited to have him a part of the channel and helping out around the shop. And yeah, we're gonna be doing some cool stuff. And hopefully soon you'll have your own car in here that you'll be tweaking on.
That's the dream.
Yeah?
I would love my own chance to build the dream.
Yeah, for real. So, quick question though. If there was any kind of car that you would want to like build into like something to get into drifting or anything like that, like a track car or whatever, what would it be? Like, don't think about any restrictions or anything, money, whatever.
Unlimited money? Unlimited money, I would probably want a Autech Stagia. Wow. I know it's probably...
Why? No, I'm not talking about like street driving, like just for you as a toy.
Like Missile?
Yeah. Yeah, like for you. The 4-door, 32?
I mean... There's a little bit of a story behind why 32s are important.
Why are they important?
My wife's father, or my wife's late father, used to drive around in a 32 GTR back in the day, but he, many years ago, he blew the engine on the Hakone Skyway, driving a little bit spirited.
Spirited, yep.
And
sounds very, I was going to say like Initial D Bunter style, but yeah.
They unfortunately at the time, it's just in the early 90s. It's a new car, engine's blown. Oh,
so they just got rid of it.
Got rid of it, but
dude, that's so mind blowing. Like these cars, so many people that love these like GTRs now, and obviously knowing what the value is now, like I guarantee you people like, it's like when people like back in the day, I spent 30 Bitcoin on a pizza.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like now knowing what that's worth, it just, people can't sleep because of that, you know?
Yeah.
Or people that lost their hard drive with their, you know, passwords and keys and wallets on it, right?
It's...
So you want something like this?
I mean, if it's going to be specifically for drifting, I think something like that.
But do you really want to get into drifting? Like, would you actually want a dedicated drift car like at Ebisu Circuit as a missile?
I would like to get a lot more time behind the wheel first before making a decision. But I really did enjoy the little chance I did have for it.
Okay.
But I really enjoy automotive sports.
Okay.
And I mean, knowing a bunch of the other people around here, that kind of seems to be something that would be really easy to. I don't have any aspirations of becoming pro or anything like that. I just want to go have fun with friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. How are 32s at going sideways?
They're great. This one's a base model, so there's a few things about it that need to change. Like it needs to be like converted to 5-lug. We got to put an R200 diff in there. It needs a different engine.
Yeah, it's the 2-liter in there, right?
Yeah, the 2-liter single jingle. Do you know why it's called a single jingle?
No.
Single cam.
Oh,
it's not even dual cam.
It's not.
Yeah, you want to look at this?
Okay. I misunderstood. I thought you were talking, it's just a single turbo. I'm like, that's not so, no.
No, single jingle NA. Like this thing is gutless, but they rev really good. Best sounding Nissan engine in my opinion. Don't at me. But yeah, this is an RB20. So this is honestly like perfect for becoming a missile. A little bit of update on this is we've actually reached out to the initial owner of this car. So there's actually a chance still that we may be getting official paperwork for it. But
so this might be a streetable.
This may actually be a streetable car, yeah. We'll find out what's happening with this probably, I'd say in a couple weeks time, we'll hear back from the initial owner. And hopefully it's good news. If it's not regardless, it's going to be good news no matter what. Because if we get the paperwork, that's great news. If we don't get paperwork and they're like, sorry, we don't have it, we actually did lose it, blah, blah, or some weird reason, like the actual person who used to own it passed away and they couldn't find the paperwork, whatever, then it's still good news because then I know the direction of the car. Taking the parts off, goes onto the other 4-door, this becomes a missile, lives at Ebisu. So we're gonna go do a little bit of a drive. This is Sayu, by the way. She's like running away and hiding. She's scared of the camera, even though she's a streamer. Go figure. Hi, Sayu. She's like, But we're gonna go for a drive in May's Swift, and I thought it would be cool to get some shots with the Insta360. So what I've gone and done is mount it on the back of the car with the Insta360 invisible selfie stick. We got the camera rigged up, gonna control it from the iPhone. We're gonna go get some cool shots, driving some of the highways here in Japan. It's the next day, we're at the shop. I'm gonna end up working on the competition FD S15, but we did start working on the truck today and we hit a major roadblock again, which kind of threw all my plans out the window because I was hoping to be ripping in the truck with the S15 in the back to go to the body shop and drop it off, get everything repainted, new aero kit and stuff installed so we can start driving it sometime soon. But yeah, the banjo bolt for the oil feed snapped when the truck mechanic was tightening it. So that kind of sucked, and we're now waiting for one bolt from Mitsubishi Parts. So, yeah, plans went down the drain. We're gonna work on the FD S15, and it's gonna be something simple. You guys know, I always say, saving the world one Nardi at a time. Well, box with a Nardi going in the comp car. Now we already do actually have a Nardi in here, so it doesn't really work this time to say that. But this is a 330 mil. Now, while this wheel size works perfect in my S15 with the kind of stock knuckle setup, with the Just Engineering kit, I have so much more angle, and the 330, obviously, if you think about it from a bike perspective and like, you know, push bike gears and stuff, the smaller the wheel, the more rotations I have to do here to get that full lock. And I've decided to up my wheel size. So I'm gonna try driving this thing with a nice big whoop. Now that I got this thing out of the packaging, we're going to a 350 mil deep corn. And this thing looks beautiful. But just to give you an idea, we went up 20 mil, and that's a fair bit if you look at that. Almost a 330 fits inside it. So I'm really hoping that this is gonna help a lot. I found I was fumbling over the wheel a lot just because of how many rotations and how much it moved. So I think this will help tremendously. And once again, like, I don't have an issue with the 330 mil that's on the S15, like the SR car. And I think that's just attributed to how much travel the rack does, because we're using like more of the stock cut and shut knuckles. But I'm not sure, I don't know this like geometry or engineering all that well, but it's just odd. Or maybe I did fumble over that wheel and I never really noticed it before. But yeah, we're changing to a 350. I wanna see how it feels and we'll go from there. New wheel is installed. I haven't put the button in yet because I have a very special custom one coming, but I decided to do a little bit of maintenance as well. And I want to show you guys E85 life. So this is my catch can, and this just kind of catches all the condensation and oil that gets sprayed out of the valve cover. But this is what E85 life looks like. It's like this watery, gunky, yeah, this is ethanol. Look at it. It's hard to explain. There's just a lot more like moisture kind of comes out of the fuel. Look at that top one, there's just like water at the top. It's gross. I've got everything back together, catch cans bolted back in on the firewall, and kind of checked over everything. We're looking good. I'm gonna be driving this at a friend's event, Mike's Racing at Scuba 1000 in about a week's time from now. So I'm pretty hyped to get some more seat time behind this and drive with some other big drivers. I think Daigo Saito's gonna be there, Fusto's gonna be there, and we're gonna be driving our comp cars, and it's gonna be a bunch of fun. So I'm looking forward to getting a heap of seat time in this thing before it goes back up to Fusto's shop and we start changing a ton of stuff on the car. This year and this season, we're going to a rear mount radiator setup. We'll also be moving the power steering pump to the rear. We'll be having two power steering pumps working simultaneously in the back as well. I really liked the feeling of the power steering pump. Just as a backup, I want to have a second one in case one fails, and we want to move it out of the front into the rear so we have one more space here, but also so that we can move the alternator to this side of the engine and solve my pulley squeaking issues. The biggest issue is that Obviously, we've done the AC delete, but obviously with the power steering delete, it means you're running a really small belt, and way that the tension is set up as a pulley and everything, the main harmonic balancer only has like this much space that the belt contacts on. So it's just not enough, and the belt always squeals until it gets a bit of temperature and like heat into it. But otherwise, that'll be nice. And obviously moving the alternator onto that side is a big deal too, because it stops the chances of you breaking off the alternator down there, as it's very weak on the block. And sometimes you have to reinforce that, because it's very common that power steering pumps, they crack through here. And then once that cracks and you don't catch it, the only thing that's stopping the alternator from falling off is a little tiny ear on the side of the block. And with the stress of the belt and everything and you revving, it just snaps it right off. So we want to avoid that. Moving that over there will stop all of those issues. And I'm going to be changing to drive-by-wire so that we can have a much more control over anti-lag and a few other functions like traction control and all that kind of thing as well. With the engine package, the engine's great. It's super healthy, hasn't had any problems. I'm still sitting on the fence on whether or not we're gonna have another engine package. We'll obviously still be running a 2J, but whether or not we go for a strokered 3.4 or a 3.1 and nitrous and all that kind of stuff, we will find out very, very soon. We have 4 months to get this thing ready, and I wanna try and have it ready a month before the first round so that I have plenty of time to do at least 3 track days in this thing, testing it, getting comfortable, and getting in my zone in this thing, if that makes sense. Obviously, livery is going to be changing. New sponsors most likely this year. I'm sure we'll be working with a lot of the same companies, but I'm aiming to get at least another 3, 4, or 5 main sponsors. We got to fix the aero here, new rear bumper, new fender here, and a new side skirt, and a bit of paint work there, and then livery and all that gets done. Surprisingly, we did really, really well. I don't think the paint, the car itself isn't going to be getting any new paint. It's mainly just going to be just like some aero parts and stuff, and the livery is going to look great. I'm not sure what I want to do with the overall design of the livery just yet. I'm thinking of maybe changing it up or still sticking with the water theme and just changing the sponsor logos. So I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comment section. And we obviously need to start thinking about running a big boy wing too. I think it'd be sick to have a wing on this car. But for now, this is how the car looks. I'm hyped, and I'm excited to drive this thing really, really soon. We're gonna wrap up and end today's video here. I'm sorry if it was a lot more talking and kind of more of a slower video today, but obviously I wanted to spend some solid time with Riley, and I know you will all understand that. But I'm excited for tomorrow. We are going to Auto Salon, so we're gonna have a lot of Auto Salon content coming out. We're also gonna be doing 3 days of live streaming there. So definitely make sure you check me out on other social medias to find that. But before we go, guys, I do wanna add that if you thought the shots we got with the Insta360 X3 camera were awesome, then make sure you check out the link down in the description. I do want to add though, I am thoroughly impressed how good it looked in low light. It looked incredible, especially those shots going through the Shibuya Scramble. Absolutely amazing. So click the link down in the description, get a free invisible selfie stick. Guys, I will see you all in the next video at Tokyo Auto Salon, and stay classy. Peace out.